I'm taking you on a jolly ride, getting you up to speed with everything sport from now to the 6 p.m. mark. What I'll be talking about today, of course, it is Champions League night. Yes. One team must, of course, bow. Of course, we're in the quarterfinal stage as we prepare to find out which teams will make it to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. It is the first leg of the quarterfinals. We'll talk about that on the show as well. We'll bring you up to speed from CAF. The battle of supremacy. Who won the AFCON 2025 continues as we look forward to what's going to happen in 2027 in Kenya, of course, Tanzania and Uganda. We'll talk about that as well. Of course, the camp of the Super Eagles, the former coach, of course, Jose Pesero speaking. Of course, he still has a lot to say. We'll tell you about that as well, including, of course, here Ramsey has bowed out of football. Of course, update from the camp of all the teams heading to the Champions League. Of course, and everything that's happening from tennis, golf, basketball, table tennis. If it's sport, definitely we will talk about it. Welcome to the cathedral. The bishop is about to begin the show. Okay, guys, before we waste more time, let's go straight to action and begin, as always, we do from the local scene. Let's let you know, of course, a lot is happening. Let's start off the way from volleyball. Of course, we can let you know, yes, if you're a fan of volleyball, we can let you know that Egypt has taken center stage in Africa. Volleyball has prepared to host the 2026 Women Africa Volleyball Club Championship, with top clubs across the continent battling for honors. The prestigious tournament organized by the Commission of African Football, Volleyball, I beg your pardon, will bring together elite women's club to compete for continental glory and qualification opportunities for the global competition. Host nation Egypt is expected to field a strong representative banking on home support and experience to challenge for the title against the powerhouse from across Africa. The championship serves as a vital platform for showcasing the growth of women volleyball on the continent, while also providing clubs with opportunity to gain international exposure. From, of course, volleyball, we go to, of course, let's go to tennis. I will let you just talk about table tennis, when Nigerian table tennis player Taiwo Mati has expressed confidence that the experience and leadership of Quadri Haruna will be crucial for the national team as they prepare for the 2026 World Cup Team Championship in London. We hear, of course, that Nigeria, currently ranked second in Africa and 26th in the world, will be aiming for a stronger showing after a disappointing campaign at the 2024 edition in South Africa. At the last tournament, Haruna, alongside Olajido Motayo and Bode Abiodun, failed to progress beyond the group stage following losses to Chinese Taipei, Czech Republic, Japan, and Madagascar. Of course, I believe tennis, of course, and let's go crazy straight to what's happening with the African Championship that is ongoing in Togo. We had the Nigerian under 18 under 20 handball teams have arrived in Lomé, Togo, ahead of the 2026 IHF Trophy African Zone 3 tournament, as both sides gears up for continental qualification. The competition organized by the International Handball Federation gets underway today, and will run through to Saturday, serving a vital development platform for emerging talent across the region. Both Nigerian teams arrived in high spirit following weeks of intensive preparation, with training camps focused on tactical discipline, physical condition, and the team cohesion ahead of the championship. With qualification at stake, the pressure is on as winners in both the under 18 and the 20 championship will progress to the continental phase to represent the Zone 3 on the bigger stage. According to the official draw, Nigeria under 18 team has been placed in Group B alongside Benin, Burkina Faso, Niger, while Group A comprises of Ghana, Togo, and Ivory Coast. In the under 20 category, Nigeria will also compete in Group B, facing Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso, where Group A includes Ghana, Benin, Togo, and Niger. Now let's talk some football quickly and get you up to speed. Here, preparation has gathered pace for the 2026 National School Football Championship, with a surge in registration marking a major milestone ahead of the nationwide competition. The tournament, endorsed by the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF, and the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPPS, aims to provide a structured platform for students to showcase their talent while strengthening the pipeline for Nigeria under 15 and under 17 national teams. The competition will kick off in May across the 36 states, and of course the FCT. We hear that with schools competing at state level before advancing to regional stages, and the winners of the 6th geopolitical zone will then converge in Abuja for the grand finale in June 2026, featuring with both boys and girls teams. Now we go to the big stage. Let's go to Africa. Let's talk some CAF football. Yes, we hear that the president of of CAF, Patrice Motsepe, is scheduled to arrive in Senegal. That was on Tuesday for crucial discussion with the Senegalese authorities. The visit comes amid high tension following CAF's appeal committee controversial decision to award Morocco the rights for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Motsepe's trip is being viewed as a strategic diplomatic effort by CAF to ease tension, promote dialogue, dialogue and prevent further division among member associations. The football governing body is eager to restore unity and stability across African football in the wake of the contentious decision. We stay with Patrice Motsepe. We hear, of course, that as we speak to you, he heads all the way to Morocco amid major developments surrounding the hosting right for the upcoming African Cup of Nations tournament. Report indicate that Morocco is set to be offered the opportunity to host both the 2027 and 2028 edition of the African Cup of Nations. This follows growing concern over the readiness of East African nation initially stated to stage the competition. The joint bid involving Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda have reportedly encountered significant infrastructural and logistical challenges, casting doubt over their ability to deliver the tournament within the required time frame. As a result, CAF is considering a strategic shift that would see Morocco step in as host for the 2027 and 2028 edition. They're looking at the capacity and, of course, existing facilities in the country. Wait to see what happens, of course. But, of course, fallout coming in all the way from CAF. Just a moment before I walked into the studio, I can let you know for sure that we hear that the date for the 2027 African Cup of Nations set to be jointly hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania have surely been confirmed. The tournament, tagged Pamoja, is a Swahili word meaning together, will run from June 19th to July 18th, marking a historical moment to East African football. This will be the first time the three nations co-host Africa's biggest football event, underlining a significant step in regional collaboration and development of the sports across the continent. Of course, no news that, of course, Google has officially corrected the results of the final of the African Cup of Nations, where Senegal won. If you go check on Google, officially changed to a 3-0 victory. According to CAF, they said it was an abandonment by Senegal. And therefore, 3 goals awarded to Morocco, as it's written. We'll wait and see what happened. We know Senegal, like I did tell you earlier, that they have gone to the Court of Arbitration for Sport and wait for the result that the CAS will decide. Would it be Senegal going home with the title again, or would it be what it is? What it is. Of course, let's leave Senegal and Morocco for a moment. Let's go touch down what's going down with the Super Eagles. And of course, we're speaking. It has to be the Super Eagles former gaffer, Jose Peseiro. Yes, he did speak and has expressed disappointment over the team's third place finish at the 2026 Africa Cup of Nations, insisting that the side's runners-up achievement 2 years earlier remains a superior performance. Don't forget, the Super Eagles won silver under his leadership when they lost the final to host the eventual winners, Côte d'Ivoire. But according to Peseiro, he guided Nigeria to the final in 2023, has insisted that his team's performance was by far better. This is what I'll quote him exactly. You are expected to reach the final of the AFCON. We did that 2 years ago. Our best finish in a long while. I see that the team finished third at the last edition, but I can confirm that our team were far superior. Do you agree, Peseiro? I thought he played some kind of draconian, like negative kind of football. Of course, under a chair, beautiful football. They got to the semi-final, but were beaten. But of course, Morocco, the eventual runners-up. Of course, for now, they are the champions according to CAF. Nigeria lost that game to Morocco on penalties shootout. For African refs as well, we'll find out which referees will be called up for the FIFA World Cup that will take place later this year. And of course, USA, Canada, and Mexico. We hear that the World Governing Body FIFA are set to announce the officials, and we're hoping that some African referees will make the cut come the end. But of course, it looks like there'll be no place for the Nigerian referee. Them not play devil's advocate, but let's see what happens when FIFA decide which referees will be on duty. Don't forget as well that Nigeria did not qualify for that World Cup despite 10 African teams making the cut. And of course, I confirmed to you, I did tell you yesterday the DR Congo national team were giving cars, land, and cash money. And I can confirm to you that those vehicles have arrived and the players have received the vehicle, each, including the official staff. We saw the players with taking a ride on the new SUV. I tell you what it means for DR Congo. Don't forget, after that victory, there was a one-day holiday, public holiday announced by the government, and the government seems to be celebrating their first World Cup qualifier in over 40 years. We stay with DR Congo for a moment. We hear that the players of the DR Congo national team, of course, have formally appealed for the inclusion of one of its most devoted supporters, Michael Nkuga Mboladinga, probably known as Lumumba. We hear in the country's official delegation to the FIFA World Cup. Fortunately, he has tried to make it to World Cup, but it was denied visa, of course, by the United States. And we hear that the players are urging the FA to put in part of the official delegation for the World Cup. Wait and see if the appeal is accepted. Now to the MPFL, of course, 2 2 games were played yesterday in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We told you Monday 33 is now done and dusted. The race for the title goes on. Last year, it was Remo. This year, it looks like a battle between two parties, which is, of course, Enugu Rangers, coached by Fidelis Lichuku, the working man, or Eyimba, which is University, I beg your pardon, coached by Freddy George, former Super Eagles winger. Of course, both of them are past winners of the MPFL, one with Enugu Rangers and the other with Eyimba. But we don't see how this part. But of course, 2 games went down yesterday. We saw big games in Umuahia and in Jos. At the New Jos Stadium, we saw Plateau United cruise there to a resounding 4-1 victory over Ikorodu City in a dominant display. Of course, we have, after a goalless first start, was Kazim Adeyonju. He broke the deadlock in the 50th minute of play to set up the tone for the host. OC Martin then took center stage, netting twice in the 72nd and 88th minute to put the game beyond doubt. Ikorodu City managed the consolation goal through Moses Ali in the 80th minute, but it proved insufficient as Victor Dawa added a fourth in stoppage time to seal the victory for Plateau United. In Umuahia, Abia claimed the hard-fought 1-0 victory over Bayelsa United. The decisive moment came from Emeka Obioma in the 58th minute. He found the back of the net, earning maximum point for no other than the Warriors of Aba. We don't see how things pan out. We'll get you at some point. I will get you what it looks like on the log for the Nigerian Premier Football League. Big games, I tell you, coming up this weekend. Now we jump to the second tier of football in Nigeria, the Nigerian National League, popularly known as the NNL. We can let you know, of course, that the Nigerian National League has officially announced a change in the date of the final round of fixtures for the 2025-2026 season. We have the shifting the conclusion from April the 12th to 15th. The adjustment confirmed by the NNL chairman George Alao, a former journalist, of course, is aimed at ensuring the smooth completion of all outstanding matches before the decisive final round of campaign. According to Alao, the league body opted for the extension to allow pending fixture to be played, thereby enabling the last set of matches to take place simultaneously across centers. We stay a little bit with the Nigerian National League and the second tier of football in Nigeria, where the race for the promotion for the Nigerian National League Conference B is set for a dramatic conclusion, with Sporting Lagos edging closer to return to the Nigerian Premier Football League. The Lagos-based side needs maximum point from their final 2 matches against Rovers FC at home and Osun United away to confirm promotion and end a 2-year absence from the top flight. Sporting Lagos have built momentum at a crucial stage of its campaign, delivering a series of strong performances and have put them firmly in control of their destiny. Their recent consistency, coupled with a balanced squad and disciplined approach, has positioned them as one of the favorites heading into the final round of match. However, promotion race remains fiercely poised. Also, we have Akwa United currently leading Conference B with 31 points, are still in contention and will be aiming to maintain the pressure on the rivals. The Oyobe side have secured victory against Solution FC of Anambra, while also hoping that Sporting Lagos drop points in either of their remaining fixtures. With only a narrow gap separating the two teams, the outcomes remains uncertain. Now some good news for fans of the Super Eagles of Nigeria quickly. Before we go to, of course, what's happening in Europe, let's get the UEFA Champions League is coming. So sit back, relax. I'll get you update from both the camps of the teams as we look forward to a big game tonight, of course, in the UEFA Champions League. For good news, we can let you know that FIFA has officially approved goalkeeper Otto Okonkwo's international switch from England to Nigeria, clearing the path for him to represent the Super Eagles. We hear the Wrexham shortstopper, who previously represented England at youth level, has now completed all necessary documentation to change his international ledger. With approval secured, the 22-year-old is immediately eligible for selection by the Nigerian national team ahead of the upcoming international fixtures. Also, one man, Alex Iwobi, has apologized for his misdemeanor in the friendly game against Jordan, where he picked up a red card for a reaction in the tackle during that game in which Nigeria played a 2-2 draw. He has come out to apologize for the sending off, of course, and the small hand midfielder, of course, has come out to say in his word, and I quote him exactly, "I need to address what I did and apologize to my Nigerian teammates, staff, and everyone who cares about Nigeria. My actions were not good enough, but I got sent up, but I will learn from this and keep moving on. We got a draw, we did not lose, so we will take the positives. I want to apologize for my mistake." The exact words of Alex Iwobi. Of course, as we get up to the Women's African Cup of Nations, the WAFCON that will take place in Morocco, hopefully, if it goes as planned, we hear that the Chipolopolo, that is the female national team of Zambia, already are preparing for some top flight friendly games as we prepare to wrestle the crown from the Super Falcons, who are defending champion. Of course, record extending 10th 6-time champions in 12 editions of the Women African Cup of Nations. We hear that the Zambia women national team have departed for Culaba, Brazil, to participate in a FIFA Women's Series scheduled to take place from April the 11th to 18th. We hear assistant coach Charles Halubuno is traveling with the home-based contingent with foreign players expected to link up with the squad upon arrival. So wait and see how things pan out. Of course, Zambia has got some key players. Barbara Banda, of course, what a player that lady is, and of course, Kirumanji at some point was the most expensive female player in the world. They're part of the team as they get up for the Women Africa Cup of Nations. They will take on Brazil, and of course, the Canadian women national team, and of course, not forgetting the South Korean women national team. That's a team preparing for a big tournament. And of course, this may be the reason why Stanley Wabali did not stay in Chippa United. We hear news emanating from South Africa. We can let you know that his former club have been hit with the FIFA transfer ban over unpaid salaries to play. Maybe this could be the reason why Wabali had to walk out the exit door. And still, without to speak to you, is clubless as we speak. We hear that the South African side has been handed the transfer ban over unpaid salaries. The sanction comes after the club failed to comply with the FIFA directive to settle outstanding payments owed to former head coach Luke Yemen. According to the report, Chippa United missed a 45-day deadline issued by FIFA to clear the debt, prompting the governing body to impose the transfer restriction. The ban means the club will be unable to register new players until the financial obligations are fully settled, a development that could significantly affect the club's planning ahead of the new season. Okay, now let's jump to the foreign scene. And like we always do, I'll get to football. Of course, on football, we go touch out other things happening in tennis, Formula 1 golf. We'll get that to you as the show progresses. But don't forget, of course, it's still Sport Cruise on People's 105.5 FM Abuja. And of course, you can also watch it live on UTV Africa as well. So, don't forget, of course, I'm still your sport bishop, Nonso Arinzechi. I'll be the guy guiding you throughout the show. The show is every weekdays from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's 1 hour of sporting joy. You don't want to miss that. Okay, quickly, let's go straight to, of course, football. And we'll start off from good news. You're a fan of Manchester United. The news coming in from the Old Trafford is that former Captain Harry Maguire has signed a new one-year contract with the club with option to extend for another year. We heard that the 3-year-old central defender, the current deal was due to expire at the end of this season, but it's understood that he has taken a pay cut. You heard it from me, a pay cut to stay at Old Trafford. We have Maguire joined Man United from Leicester for £80 million in 2019, a world record transfer fee for a defender. He has made 206 appearances for United so far, winning the League Cup in 2022-2023 season and the FA Cup the following season. Of course, Maguire's time at Man United has been turbulent, from captain to almost leaving the club and now becoming one of the big stay at the club. The big news is that he will be departing the club. We will not be departing the club, I beg your pardon, this season. We stay with Manchester United, where Man United winger Amad Diallo, in his introduction, is the Ivorian. He has backed the interim manager, boss, and gaffer Michael Carrick, yes, to become the new club's permanent manager. Carrick was placed in charge until the end of the season in January following the sacking of Ruben Amorim. Since then, the former United and England midfielder has guided the club to 7 wins and just 1 defeat in 10 matches. What a turn in tide since the Ruben Amorim era. They now require 4 wins and a draw for the remaining 7 matches to return to Champions League football after a 2-year absence. I call it a sabbatical. We hear United's hierarchy have vowed not to rush into a decision and are likely to wait until the end of the season before making the final call. But of course, speaking from the club 4-day training camp in Ireland, Ahmad said, and I'll quote him, "From a personal view, he's just the right man. He has a lot of experience. He knows the club and has the DNA. His relationship with the players is very good. Sometimes this kind of manager can bring the club where they belong. It's not the players who decide, but my honest opinion is we are really happy to have Michael Carrick as the manager." That was said. We've got good experience with him, said Brian Mbeumo. Some of the players are backing him. Wait and see whether Michael Carrick will be given the job. But again, check it out. 10 games, 7 wins, 1 defeat, 2 draws. It can't be a bad start for a manager who was brought in to just to steady the ship and not to get them to. So I think getting Champions League football looks to be like one of the biggest achievements for him, because when he joined the club, Champions League was only just a dream. Now let's leave Man United and let's touch down in London. This time not London, a former player. Talking about Wales captain and former Arsenal midfielder Aaron Ramsdale. We hear has officially retired from professional football with immediate effect. We had a 35-year-old who has been without a club since leaving Mexican side Pumas Unam last year. Is not expected to pursue a career in coaching. Ramsey retired as one of Wales' greatest players, scoring 21 goals in 86 appearances and representing his country at 3 major tournaments. He played an integral role for Wales' historical run at the Euro 2016 and, of course, semi-final, ending a place in UEFA team of the tournament. Ramsey then played at the Euro 2020 and the 2022 World Cup. Wales' first appearance in the final stage of that competition for 62 years. Of course, he had stints with Cardiff, and of course, Arsenal, he won 3 FA Cup, scoring the winning goal in 2 of this final during his 11th stint with the Ghana. He also had spent with Juventus, Nice, and Rangers. But the man has said, thank you very much. Of course, this is where the cookie crumbles for Aaron Ramsey, and his football career has hit a halt. Of course, you know this man, James Rodriguez. Of course, he looks like he's forgotten, but not forgotten about the 2010 World Cup, where he came into the limelight playing for Colombia. We hear that Minnesota United, the club where he plays for, has denied the rumors that the midfielder James Rodriguez is suffering from a potential life-threatening muscle wasting condition. The Colombian international returned to the club training camp on Monday after being hospitalized. Rodriguez showed signs of illness during Colombia's 3-1 defeat by France on the 29th of March and subsequently spent 3 days in hospital with severe dehydration. A statement from the Colombia Football Federation on the 2nd of March confirmed that Rodriguez was under observation for a non-sport related medical condition, but has said his prognosis was favorable. Now we hear the MLS side, the club, our medical professionals can unequivocally state that there has been no clinical or laboratory evidence of rhabdomyolysis. So, for those raising those rumors, the club have said no, no, no. Now let's touch down the championship quickly. Before we go to the Champions League, we hear Lincoln City will be playing second-tier football next season for the first time since 1961. Yes, after Jack Moline scored a 96-minute winner to secure victory at Reading and promotion to the championship. Needing just a point to confirm their passage to the second tier of the English football, we hear Moline claimed their late winner after Royal midfielder Louis Wing had cancelled Ryan Owens' early opener for the Ames. The result was enough for Michael Skubala's side to an unacceptably 19-point lead in League One over third place Bradford City. To the Women's FA Cup, of course, we saw Chelsea. Of course, we know them of Chelsea got a 2-1 victory over Spurs in the FA Cup and are through to the semi-finals of the Women's FA Cup. Samantha Kerr opened the scoring for the holders Chelsea in the first half. Valina Soman equalized for Tottenham Hotspur after the break, but Valley Bowman netted the late winner to send the Blues into the last 4. Big win, of course, Samantha Kerr, of course, and Chelsea as they are through to the Women's FA Cup semi-final. For Man City, they are also through. They beat Birmingham City to reach the semi-finals of the Women's FA Cup. Khadija Shaw early strike the only goal at St Andrews. The WSL leaders will now face Chelsea in the Final Four. Now let's go to the Champions League. This is what we love, of course, the UEFA Champions League. Big games tonight. Arsenal are hoping to stop that run of 3 games defeat. Can they do just that? But let's go to the camp and let's see what's happening with the fitness of this Arsenal team. We hear that Arsenal, Declan Rice and Gabriel have trained before Tuesday's Champions League quarterfinal with Sporting. Midfielder Rice, we hear 27 years of age, left the England squad following a medical assessment during March international break and missed Saturday's FA Cup quarterfinal defeat to Southampton. But we hear him and also Brazilian defender Gabriel, meanwhile, was first off the knee injury after taking a knock during the defeat on South Coast. Both players are involved in the first league team training at the club's London colony base on Monday before Mikel Arteta's side traveled to Lisbon for the first leg. Belgian winger Leandro Trossard also returned to training, but of course, sad news is that Bukayo Saka was not involved and is also not going to be part of the game tonight. Big blow for Arsenal in that one. There is no Bukayo Saka. He stays put. Also, Jonathan Timbers will not be available for that game. Big blows for Arsenal. For Mikel Arteta, of course, he has called he's facing Sporting, I told in the quarterfinals first leg today. They are much riding on that game with so many people believing that he's not the man to take Arsenal to the promised land. Again, the question is, where is the promised land? Is he winning the league? Is he winning the Champions League? But of course, I can confirm to you, out in the Carabao Cup in the finals, beating the quarterfinal by Southampton. Now they play Sporting Sporting in the quarterfinals of the Champions League? Can he change the narrative? Can he turn the tide? That's the question a lot of people are asking. In his words, I don't want to quote his words, he's very optimistic. He said, have some perspective about how difficult it is, but what we have done until now is amazing. Defiant, I must tell you. I feel the pain, I feel the emotion, and we're going to use it to be better and improve. Is he going to do that? Is Atala just talking tough? Does he really feel the emotions of the fans? 2 losses in a row. From the quadruple, it has turned to a double. That's the question you would ask. But of course, let's talk about one team, of course, who seem to be flying on one cylinder is the Bavarians, the team from Germany, which is Bayern Munich. We hear the Bayern Munich are waiting on the fitness of a very special man, the man who scores when he wants, Harry Kane. Like we say, Kane is able. Except to see if the man would lead the challenge over Real Madrid, the Champions League quarterfinal that would take to today. We had England captain took part in training on Monday before traveling to Madrid with the rest of the squad after the minor issue believed to be an ankle knock, which kept him out of England friendly against Japan at Wembley. Kane was also missing their 3-2 victory over Freiburg at the weekend. The coach, Vincent Kompany, of course, playing his card close to his chest about the involvement of Harry Kane. His word, Harry is part of the team, so that's positive for us. We will have to wait until that is today to get the full information. Then we will make our decision. It was important that he did a lot of training today. I don't think he lost his reading. For Harry Kane, he has scored 10 goals in the Champions League this season, and is of course the leading goal scorer in the Bundesliga with a total of 31. Okay, before I go to the Champions League games, let's go to the result of game played yesterday across different match venues. We start off from the Spanish La Liga. We saw Girona beat Villarreal by a goal to nil. In the Serie A, Udinese played a goalless draw with Como. Lecce lost 0-3 to Atlanta. Juventus beat, of course, Genoa 2 goals to nil. While Napoli got past AC Milan 1 goal to nil. Of course, as Napoli continued their chase for the Scudetto. Other games played, of course, in the MPFL, we tell the Abia Warriors beat Bielsa United by a goal to nil. Plateau United beat Ikorodu City by 4 goals to 1 in those feisty encounter as well. So those are the games that are played. Let me give you the result for the championship before we go to the games today. The big one, the UEFA Championship. We saw Portsmouth play 2-2 draw. Portsmouth with Oxford United. Millwall lost 1-2 to Norwich City. Blackburn 0. West Bromwich Albion 0. Bristol City 1. Sheffield United 0. Derby County 2. Stoke City 0. Ipswich Town 2. Birmingham 1. Preston North End 1. QPR 1. Sheffield Wednesday 1. Leicester City 1. Watford 1. Charlton Athletic 1. Swansea City 2. Middlesbrough 2, and Hull City played a goalless draw with Coventry City. Games will continue today. We start off from, of course, the Champions League. We will see Arsenal travel to Sporting. Portugal take on Sporting CP. Real Madrid will host Bayern Munich, I beg your pardon, in the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Spain. One game in the Championship. We see Wrexham take on Southampton, who are on a very good run. Of course, the Scottish Championship, of course. Let's just give you one more game. Of course, in the Ligue 1, it is Port Vale versus Rotterdam United. Okay, now this is the time for you to jump on the conversation. We're talking about the Champions League today. 2 big games, of course. Sporting will host Arsenal in Portugal. What do you think Arsenal can do? Arsenal fans, do you believe that this is the time to turn the tide? 2 defeats in a row. Can Arteta, after saying this, they refuse the pain and defeat, that's going to turn them to make the team better? Do you agree with Mikel Arteta? Do you agree with what he's saying? Can he turn the tide and make it better? Also, do you think that Vincent Kompany has made his Bayern Munich team unbeatable, untouchable, impeccable, indestructible? Can they get a result? Of course, when they travel to, of course, Spain, take on Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. I wanted you to talk to me. What do you think about the game? I'm taking predictions as well. You can talk about the game and then give us your predictions for that game. What do you think about the result? Okay, now I'll read out the phone lines for you to be part of the show. It is 091-1222-1055. I'll take that again. 091-1222-1055. Or you can also call 0704 800 1055 0704 800, that is 800 1055. Don't forget, you can drop a WhatsApp message, WhatsApp voice note, or call on WhatsApp if possible on 091 1112 1055. I'll take that again. 091 1112 1055. The phone lines are up and running. Let's talk the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal in the afterburner. What do you expect from the Arsenal team? Do you think they can change the narrative? Do you think they can turn the tide? Do you think they can stop that defeat? 2 defeats in a row. Do you think they can get something against Sporting Lisbon in Portugal? For the big one tonight, it is Real Madrid, 15-time champions. Of course, that's Bayern Munich. Do you think Bayern Munich can go? It seems a lot of people believe that Bayern Munich can go to the Santiago and get all 3 points, and even bash them. Some said one said 4-1, the other said 3-0. But don't forget, Real Madrid and Real Madrid, when it comes to the Champions League, they can be a different ball game or a hard nut to crack. I know it's a battle of 2 rookies. Abaloa taking up his first managerial role, former Liverpool defender, and of course Vincent Kompany on the second year with Bayern Munich. Can he be the manager to break all records, defy all odds, and get the result for the German side? Hello, what's the name? Where are you calling from? Hello. Your name? Oh, wow. We lost that call. Please do well to call back. Let's hear from you. The Champions League football is still upon us. We want to hear from you. What do you think about the games tonight? First leg of these 2 encounters, who would take something to the second leg? First, Arsenal will be hoping to take something to the Emirates Stadium. And, of course, Bayern Munich will be hoping to take something to the Allianz Arena in Germany. Okay, but quickly before we jump to other sporting activities happening in Europe from tennis, let's take more calls. I'm interested in hearing from you. It's Champions League night. It is your night. Which team do you support? Or is your team already out of the Champions League, like the likes of Chelsea, who has been sent packing? Mine didn't make it at all in the last 2 seasons. Liverpool, you know, they were beaten last time. I want to hear from you. Liverpool has a game tomorrow, I beg your pardon. So there's still 2 English teams in the Champions League. Man City has been dumped out by Real Madrid. Can Real Madrid do another miracle? You know, they say nothing is impossible in football, and get a result against Bayern Munich. Okay, I'm still expecting more calls to come. Let's quickly jump down and talk about other activities happening across other sports in Europe. Let's go to the world of tennis. Bring this to your notice. We can let you know that Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, yes, continue their tussle for the world #1 spot as they open their clay-court seasons with commanding second-round wins at the Monte Carlo Masters. Fresh from competing the Sunshine Double without dropping a set, Sinner needed only 64 minutes to complete a 6-3, 6-love demolition of Frenchman Hugo Humbert, conceding just 6 points in the second set. It was an 18th consecutive Masters 1000 win for the Italian second seed, who has now won 36 consecutive sets at this level. If Sinner goes all the way and wins in Monaco, he will replace Alcaraz as the world #1 when the rankings are updated on Monday. Alcaraz, the defending champion, opened his clay court season with a 6-1, 6-3 victory in 70 minutes against Argentine Sebastian Berz, a 6-time ATP Tour champion on clay, later on Tuesday. It was the Spaniard's first match on clay since he triumphed over Sinner in last year's enthralling French Open final when he came back from 2-set down and saved 3 championship points en route to his second Roland Garros title. We still talk tennis, of course. We know that one lady, British Katie Boulter, suffered her first round defeat to Romanian Elena Gabriela Ruse at the Upper Australian Ladies Links Open. Boulter, who's 29, went down 7-6, 7-6 on clay to world number 87 Ruse, who will now face Ukrainian Diana Retremska or American Ann Lee in the last 16. Gabriela Boulter lost her first 2 service game in the opening set, but twice broke before she was edged out in a tie break. Now to World Athletics. We hear that World Athletics plans to launch a standalone World Marathon Championship from 2030. We hear with the Athens in Greece potentially hosting the inaugural event. The marathon will remain part of the World Athletics Championship in 2027 and the 2029, but will then have its own annual championship with men and women competing in alternative years from 2030. The annual Road Running Championship will continue as a separate event on the calendar under the new proposal. Lord Sebastian Coe, the president of the World Athletics, said that the sport governing body was delighted to be exploring option with Athens and called the marathon an iconic discipline. Now, of course, let's go to some cricket where former Australian batter David Warner has been charged with drink driving in Sydney. The New South Wales police confirmed the 39-year-old man was arrested on Sunday after returning a positive result following a random breath test in Maroubra in East Sydney. Warner recorded a second positive test at a police station, which was reported at more than twice the legal blood alcohol concentration limit permitted in New South Wales. We hear that Warner has been charged with a mid-range prescribed concentration of alcohol, which applies to drivers in New South Wales with a blood alcohol concentration between 0.08 and 0.149. He would appear in court on the 7th of May. Warner, who retired from international cricket in 2024, is currently captain of the Pakistan Super League side Karachi Kings. The next match is against Peshawar Zalmi on the 9th of April. Okay, don't forget, guys, you can still be part of the show. We're talking about the UEFA Champions League. We want to hear from you. What do you think would happen tonight? Sporting takes on Arsenal. Yes, big name, big game tonight in Portugal. Madrid host Bayern Munich in the clash of the Titans. Where would the pendulum swing? Let's talk about the games. And, of course, you can predict the scoreline of both games. And let's hear from you where you are pitching your tent. Like we say, you put your money where your mouth is. Talk to me. Let's look at the teams that catches your fancy. Where do you pitch your tent? Where do you pitch your tent? I want to hear from you. What do you think about the games that will be played tonight? Talk to me. The phone lines are still, of course, up and running. Don't forget, this is still People's 105.5 FM Abuja and UTV Africa. We're looking at the Champions League. The biggest story for today is Match Day Live. First leg of the first two quarterfinals. Where will the pendulum swing to? Who will take the early lead in those encounters? We'll stay with a little bit of doping. Sadly, we had as Greg Reddy, the former chair of the British Olympic Association, BOA, and the president of the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, has died at the age of 84. Reddy charged with chaired the BOA between 1992 and 2005 before going on to become the president of WADA, serving from 2014 to 2019. The Boacha, who was part of the London successful bid for the 2012 Olympics and Paralympic Games and went on to serve as director of the organizing committee for the two events. He was also a member of the International Olympic Committee, the IOC executive board between 2009 and 2012, and its vice president between 2012 and 2016. And then finally, from what else, we go to the NBA, where we had a teenager rookie, Cooper Flack, continued his superb form by scoring 45 points as the Dallas Mavericks beat the Los Angeles Lakers 134-128. That game was played on Sunday. The 19-year-old had made history on Saturday when he became the first teenager to score 50 points in an NBA game, finishing with 51 points, including 24 in the fourth quarter in a defeat by Orlando Magic. He followed up with the 48-point haul in the win over the injury-hit Lakers, adding 9 assists and 8 rebound. Flack is the first rookie with back-to-back 40-point games since Allen Iverson in 1997 and is among the favorites to be named the season's rookie of the year. So these are the games that I played, of course, in the NBA early hours of this month. We saw the Hawks lost to the Knicks 105-108. Orlando Magic defeated the Detroit Pistons by 123-107. The San Antonio Spurs beat the 76ers 115-102. The Memphis Grizzlies lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers 126-142, while the Denver Nuggets beat the Portland Trail Blazers 137-132. Later yesterday, we saw like I did tell you, the Warriors losing to the Rockets 116-117. A very tight game. Sacramento Kings, of course, lost to the LA Clippers 109-138. The Mavericks beat the LA Lakers 134-128. Timberwolves 108-122 lost to the Hornets. The Pelicans, of course, lost to the Orlando Magic 108-112. We told you that already. While the Oklahoma City Thunder were on a whitewashing mode, beat the Utah Jazz 146-111. Okay, guys, and this is where the cookie crumbles on the show. But like we say, whatever has a beginning definitely does have an end. Don't forget, again, Mondays to Friday, 5 p.m. is Sport Cruise. People's 105.5 FM is the dial. You can also watch it live on UTV Africa. You don't want to miss this 1 hour show because from now, it's only going to get better and better and better. Like I love to tell you, come on, guys, if your child or what is participating in sport, please encourage him or her. He or she could be the next big thing. Keep talking sport, keep living sport. Sport is life. Life is meaningless without sport. And I mean, your one and only, your sport bishop, your magistrate pilot, your prophet, the professor, Nonso Arinzichi. Bye for now, guys. Have a wonderful day. But again, catch me 5 p.m. tomorrow, where we discuss the fallout from the games today and preview the games for tomorrow. Bye for now, and have yourself a wonderful night rest.